So guys, imagine this. What if your soul and your partner's soul got exchanged? What would you do after that? Well, the same thing is about to happen in this drama, where our crown prince and a girl accidentally swap souls. What happens next? How will their lives change? You'll find out everything in this story. The drama's name is Moon River, a historical romances that's about to unfold. So, let's begin with episode 1. The episode starts with a little boy walking through the snow. He soon reaches an old man named Wolha. The boy says he's come from Samson and was told to hand over this register a list of people chosen by her. Wolha opens the list and writes down 2 names. Suddenly, lights appear from those names and blend into the nearby flowers. The boy notices that some flowers are red and some are white. He asks why. Wolha explains, when fate connects 2 people's destinies together, white blossoms turn red. The boy points at one flower and asks why it looks different. Wolha replies, when 2 souls meet, their encounter is predestined. These flowers represent those destined meetings. He continues explaining the story behind it. Then we see our crown prince, Li Gang, who notices a girl holding a blossom petal. Her friend teases her, saying that her first love will soon appear. Li Gang overhears this, picks up a petal, and walks toward the girl. They look at each other, and love blooms between them. He slips a ring onto her finger. But in the next scene, we see his wife's death. Wolha narrates that their meeting was destined, but greed and power tore them apart. That night, Li Gang is sleeping, haunted by memories of his wife's death. Suddenly, he wakes up, and a glowing red thread of fate appears from his hand, drifting toward the moon. Interestingly, throughout all these scenes, the wife's face is never revealed. The next morning, palace servants bring Li Gang his new outfit. He glances at it and leaves immediately, heading straight to the royal tailor. He complains that the outfit doesn't suit him. The tailor, surprised, says he's been working for 20 years and no crown prince has ever complained like this. Li Gang snaps, yelling that he clearly doesn't understand the problem. His aides, including Sodal, a eunuch, and military officer Shin Won, watch silently as the argument escalates. Then Li Gang's gaze falls on something nearby. He smirks and says, "I'll use this today." Later in the royal court, the ministers are discussing the crown prince's marriage. A heated debate breaks out. One official speaks too bluntly, angering the left minister, Han Cheol, who draws his sword to defend Li Gang's honor. But instead of being serious, Li Gang casually eats popcorn, enjoying the chaos. He then announces that he's already chosen his bride Han Cheol's daughter and commands the officials to issue the Marriage Ban Act. In the next scene, Han Cheol visits the king, Li He, to report what happened. The king asks him, "Do you want an heir, or do you want to kill Li Gang, or lock him away like me," calling him insane. Han Cheol nervously laughs it off as a joke, but the king's tone is cold. Han Cheol says, "If I call it a joke, then it's a joke. I told everyone you were insane, unfit to be king, and see? That became the truth. Whatever I say, happens." Later, Li Gang walks across a bridge, watching fish swim below. He wonders aloud why they haven't been killed yet. A maid nearby answers softly, saying that every living being deserves life. Realizing her mistake, she apologizes, but Li Gang tells her he'll forgive her only if she pulls all the fish out of the water. The maid obeys. Curious, she asks why he hates water so much. Another servant explains that the queen was poisoned and the blame fell on the crown princess. Unable to bear the shame, she drowned herself. Ever since then, Li Gang has despised water and every creature in it. We then see him practicing archery, lost in memories from 5 years ago. He had begged his father, the king, to investigate his wife's death, saying she couldn't have killed the queen. But the king coldly replied that she took her own life because he ordered her to. "If I killed her myself, you would have followed her. So I told her to die by her own hand to save you," the king said. "Never forget her sacrifice." Li Gang screamed, "I was already dead the moment she died." In the present, Li Gang visits his wife's grave. He whispers, "Don't worry, I'll be with you soon." He's about to drink poison when Han Cheol appears and shoots an arrow, shattering the bottle. Furious, Li Gang demands to know why. Han Cheol calmly says, "You can't die yet, you still have work to do. That's part of our plan." Then he smirks and confesses, "I was the one who killed the queen and framed you." Shocked, Li Gang asks why he's revealing this now. Han Cheol replies, "Because I know you won't do anything. You're weak. You're a coward." Then he walks away. In the present, Li Gang is enraged. He shoots an arrow, but his bow snaps. His aides rush to him, asking if he's okay, if they should call the physician. He says he's fine, but his eyes are filled with pain as he remembers being on a boat with his wife. Quietly, he whispers, "I miss you." Then we meet our main heroine, Park Dal, a clever street vendor who sells goods door to door. Her trick? She first asks for water to get inside, then casually starts selling. One lady hesitates, but when Park Dal shows her some salt and insists it's special, she ends up buying it. The same routine continues at every house. Later, as Park Dal walks home, two noble kids throw stones at her. She dodges one and flicks it right back, hitting one of them. She demands an apology, but the boys arrogantly shout, "Do you even know who we are? We're from a noble family, you're just a lowborn." Park Dal smirks and says, "Then I guess I've got no choice," and playfully chases them off. In the next scene, she's blowing soap bubbles when her father approaches. He asks what's bothering her. She looks up and says, "How did you know something's wrong?" Her father says, "You always blow bubbles when something's bothering you. Did they throw stones at you again? You shouldn't waste expensive soap bubbles like that." But Park Dal replies, "Doing this makes me feel better." He chuckles and says, "If you want to feel better, roll up your sleeves like I do." She sighs and says, "They keep calling me lowborn, but I'm not. You know, I was found drowning in the river years ago, and I lost all my memories. I think I should head west to start my own business." Her father nods and says, "All right, you can go, but make sure you stop by the next village. Commander Hyo wants to see you." Park Dal frowns. "What does that old man want with me?" He shrugs. "No idea. Ask him yourself." In the next scene, Park Dal meets Commander Hyo and asks why he called her. Hyo explains, "You know my daughter got married in Hanyang, right? She's been widowed for a long time now, but lately she appears in my dreams, crying. She keeps saying she wants to join her husband. I don't know what to do." Park Dal looks at him and says, "So you want me to investigate this in Hanyang, right? I can't. I'm not allowed to go there." Hyo offers her money, but she refuses. Then he shows her a bag of silver nyang, and she finally agrees. He adds, "She also left me a letter." Later, Park Dal examines the letter carefully. Hidden between lines, it says, "They're forcing me to take my own life." Shocked, Park Dal whispers, "Then I have to go there." The next scene shows her packing for Hanyang. Her aunt Hengnan stops her and asks, "Where do you think you're going?" Park Dal lies, "Just to sell my goods." Hangnan warns, "No matter what, don't go to Hanyang. Slave hunters are looking for you there." Park Dal nods, pretending to agree, but in the next moment, we see her arriving in Hanyang anyway. She starts asking around for Hyo's daughter's address, but when she spots soldiers nearby, she quickly hides. Fortunately, Hyo had already given her a map. Meanwhile, a royal decree is being posted, the Marriage Ban Act. At the palace, the Queen Dowager Han talks with Seungji about what happened at the royal assembly. Seungji says, "I think Prince Lee Won should be put on the throne. I've heard he's back in the capital." But Han refuses, saying, "We can't let that happen. I'm the one who framed and killed his mother. I'm the one who had Lee Won dethroned. If he becomes king, he'll take revenge on me. Lee Gang cannot marry Han Cheol's daughter either. I won't let his heir take the throne. We must find another girl." At the royal meeting, Lee Gang discusses state affairs, but soon announces he's leaving. The ministers ask where he's going. Lee Gang says, "I've heard my brother, Lee Won, has returned. I owe him a debt, and I need to see him." Meanwhile, Park Dal finds Hyo's daughter's house and knocks on the door. A woman answers and coldly tells her to leave. Park Dal pretends to drop her bag, spilling out silver knives. Seeing them, the woman changes her tone. "All right, you can stay here." She's then taken to the annex where Hyo's daughter lives. When they're alone, Park Dal writes a note asking, "Are you okay? Are they forcing you to take your own life?" The woman nods. Park Dal writes again, "Do you want to live?" She nods once more. Park Dal tells her, "Then here's what we'll do." At the same time, Lee Gang arrives nearby, searching for his brother. His attendant, Sodol, starts flirting with a maid, and Lee Gang chases after him to hit him. But then, he spots Park Dal and freezes. He stares at her, stunned, memories flooding back. She looks exactly like his late wife. By the time he snaps out of it, she's gone. Sin Won approaches and asks what happened. Lee Gang murmurs, I saw my wife. Sin Won reminds him, that's impossible. You confirmed her death yourself. Nearby, Park Dal hides behind a wall, whispering, I saw that man staring at me through the mirror. Who is he? Is he one of the slave hunters? Suddenly, So Dal appears behind her, asking, what are you looking at? Park Dal punches him and runs. Lee Gang sees her again and chases after her, but she escapes. Hiding in the shadows, she watches him and whispers, was that just an illusion? She then explores a quiet neighborhood and says to herself, who lives here? Inside, she finds a house filled with beautiful flowers. I didn't know Hanyang had a place like this, she says softly. As she changes her outfit behind a large tree, we see a young man sitting in the branches above its Lee Won. He's observing her when suddenly his pocket watch beeps. Park Dal looks up, startled, and screams. Lee Won yells too, and his watch slips from his hand, falling straight onto Park Dal's head. Next scene, she wakes up to find herself treated for injuries. The boy sitting nearby is none other than Lee Won. She gets up to leave, but he stops her, asking, are you all right? She nods. Thanks for the treatment and your concern. As she turns to go, he adds, wait, I was talking about my watch. It's broken. It was expensive. Park Dal scoffs. So what? I didn't break it, you dropped it. Lee Won insists, you'll have to pay for it. She smirks. I don't have any money, but you can take my skin instead. Then rolls up her sleeve. Lee Won sighs and tells his servant, I'm going out. Don't let her leave. Meanwhile, back home, Park Dal's mother notices something missing. Where's the silver knife? She asks. Her husband says, I gave it to Dal. He then glances at a jar and realizes she didn't take the salt with her. Back in Hanyang, Park Dal tells the servant she needs to use the restroom. At first, he refuses. She glares and says, then I'll just go right here. Embarrassed, he lets her go. Elsewhere, Lee Won plays a bamboo flute. When he spots his brother, Lee Gang yells, you stole my watch. I brought that from a foreign land. Where is it? Lee Won calmly replies, it's already broken. The two brothers start fighting. A spy witnesses everything and reports back to Han Cheol. So Dal notices soldiers leaving and tells the princes they're safe. The brothers then discuss Han Cheol, suspecting he's plotting something. Meanwhile, Han Cheol is informed that both princes have met. He mutters, they must be planning something. Maybe they want to kill me. Outside, the guard waits near the restroom, but Park Dal sneaks out and runs. He spots her and follows. She climbs up to the roof, and he pleads, stop. I'll tell Lee Won you didn't do anything. He'll reduce your punishment. The man who brought you here, he's the late king's son. Park Dal freezes, shocked. Back in her village, her parents question An Hangnan, why can't Dal go to Hanyang? Hangnan explains, if anyone there recognizes her, she'll be killed on the spot. At the same time, Lee Gang and Lee Won come outside. With no way to escape, Park Dal jumps off the roof right into Lee Gang's arms. He catches her and stares at her face, overwhelmed by emotion. Memories of his wife rush back and we finally learn the truth. Park Dal is his wife. The episode ends right there. We'll meet again in episode 2. Until then, bye.